Hello again, it's Dusty Thunder. Again, and I have another AITA story for you. This one goes like this. Am I the thunderhole for not supporting my husband's hobbies anymore? My husband, 28, and me, 26, have been together for 6 years. My husband has always been a little weird, but I loved that about him. I also loved how he never got boring. His hobbies would change all the time. It would go from painting to hiking to swimming to crocheting. It was a constant change. I never complained about it. I always found it enjoyable. The first week would be a spark of passion, but after the second week, he would lose interest in it and it would hide in the back of our closet. I always kept his little makings and photos in a box when he was done with them, for memories, of course. That way, whenever we got bored, we could go through them and think back to those silly memories. It was always a treat. Sadly, the past month or two, we have been running low on money. I saved a jar of money in our room that we only used for emergencies, such as when we ran too low for bills, insurance, possible medical expenses, or groceries. The first time I noticed money was gone, my husband came home with some groceries from the store. As I was helping him put stuff away, I noticed in the bag was a tennis racket and other equipment. I looked at him confused about all the things. He told me he bought it with his own money though, so it was fine. I believed him and went back to putting away groceries. The second time I saw money taken, he came home with a PS5 and other things. I asked him how he paid for it. He told me it was with the money from the jar, but he was going to pay it back. I told him that money was only for emergencies when we were running low on funds. He told me he knew and that he would repay it back. I left it alone and just hoped the money would return eventually, not pushing him as he wanted to try video games out. Although that didn't make me any less happy that important money was going to waste on video games. The third time money was taken, I lost it. All the money in the jar was taken out. All of it? There were thousands of dollars in there, and the only way I would be happy was if he was taking care of a medical expense or all the bills. I called my husband to ask where he was at, and he told me he bought us a boat. I told him not to bother returning home for a bit and hung up. I needed to cool off for a bit. I grabbed all the stuff in the back of the closet and posted them online to sell. My husband soon returned home. He began to talk about the boat and how pretty it was and other things. When he finally noticed his stuff on the ground, he asked about it. I told him I was selling it to hopefully get some money back. To say he got mad was an understatement. He tried taking all of his stuff, throwing them back in the closet. I told him it was either those things or the boat go. He told me how I was being an asshole on trying to get rid of his stuff. I told him I will not support his hobbies anymore if they were taking money we didn't have. He slammed the door on my face and I haven't seen him since. It's been 2 days. Am I the asshole? There's also this note on the end that says, don't have a bank account. My husband has full range of it. Slightly concerning. I gotta look at some comments here because I just want to make sure I have it all together here. Okay, OP actually comes back and comments in this and says, all right, guys, I'm spending the free time I have now away from my husband to open a bank account and buy a new phone. I'm hoping the bank account will help me get through everything. Okay, she had nothing. Okay, so his game here was he had control over everything so he could do whatever the F he wanted. If he was taking money from the jar, you know damn well he had cleaned out whatever they had anywhere else. In any other kind of account, you know he had cleaned that out. If he was willing to take what she could visibly see was gone, what did he do to what she couldn't see? Dude has no self-control at all. I mean, I think it's okay to test hobbies out. It's completely fine. As long as you do it in a controlled manner. There's all kinds of things that I want to do, that I want to learn, and a lot of it does require investment, but as long as you're pacing yourself, and if you're going to spend money on it, it can't be like a 2-week, then you're bored with that thing. You've got to commit to sticking with it and commit to getting better at whatever it is that you're taking up as a hobby. I don't know where a boat came from. A boat just came from left field, and it's like, I'm gonna try out video games, so I got a PS5, and then I must have got bored from that because I bought a boat. Whoa. PS5 to boat is a pretty big jump. I mean, PS5s are pretty high, I guess, but boats are a lot higher. And you know what? If you have a boat, you have to have something that you can haul it with. I don't know how big the boat was. Like, how big was the boat? Because that can lead to a whole bunch of other cascading things. Like, now he's got to have a giant truck to pull the giant boat, and now they've got to rent a boat slip. They've got to have a lake house. This could be a snowball. So OP has been completely taken advantage of here and even tried to put her foot down, and homeboy was just like, nah, I ain't stopping. They don't have kids though, right? They don't talk about kids at all. I was going to say this sounds like a mink couple. I think that's what it's called. Moderate income, no kids. But they don't really talk about work at all either. They just talk about the spending side of it. So it's hard to find a solution path here and try to suggest a way for OP to navigate this without those bits of information. But what she said down here about opening up her own bank account and getting a different phone, those are smart moves. She's got to position herself to insulate herself from the damage he is inevitably going to cause, because it's pure caution to the wind at this point. point, and he's just doing whatever. So insulate yourself, start building up that savings account. We don't know what either one of them are doing for work, so start preparing yourself to, I'm not going to say exit, but you've got to insulate yourself from the damage he's going to cause. Oof. I just happened to pull the story back up, and one of the comments ends with, also, am I the only one getting Peter Griffin vibes on this?
Hey, Lois.